I now recognize the gentlelady from Texas, Ms. Sheila Jackson Lee.
Mr. Chairman, thank you, and thank you to you and the ranking member for holding an important discussion. And I think it is important to establish the heinousness of the attacks by Hamas and the violence shown. And we in America should be steadfast and in front of the outrage of anti-Semitism and the violence that it generates. And we must ensure as well that as this nation respects all faith, that we tolerate no violence against any faith, including Muslim Americans. And I think in this committee, we want to have the homeland protected, and we want to be able to be honest and speak to those issues as very important, that we protect against such violence should not be tolerated. I am grateful, Mr. Warwick, for your presence here and all the other witnesses, and may I start with you on this whole concept of Iran using the forward defense. One would call that cheating and hiding. Cheating by having violence perpetrated, but hiding behind other groups. And forward defense is a nice foreign affairs term, but I think that is what it is. And so can you dig a little deeper into that strategy? And that is using Hezbollah, using Hamas and other terrorist groups, and Iran either funding, directing, giving strategy, training, and how dangerous that is. And as a Homeland Security Department, Homeland Security Committee, how much attention we should give to that issue.
So I know the nuclear file gets a lot of attention, but in fact, Iran's use of proxies, that is to say, its use of military forces not under the control of the national government of the country in which they're located, is actually one of the gravest threats that Iran poses to the region, and it's the way Iran is trying to project its power against Israel and our Arab partners. This is therefore something that needs to be addressed in the most serious possible way, and very much should be the focus of a bipartisan, sustainable strategy against Iran that does not oscillate no matter who controls the White House or the houses of Congress. We need the same bipartisan, sustained approach that succeeded so well for us in the Cold War against the Soviet Union, and the bipartisanship we see in our approach towards China today. We need to have the same bipartisanship in our approach to the threat that Iran poses through proxies and surrogates like Hamas and Hezbollah.
We cannot turn our backs on that. We cannot ignore. And they can possibly recruit other groups and utilize them. The State Department has called them the leading proponent of terrorism. How much do you think Iran knew about Hamas' October 7th bloody attack?
They may not have known the exact day and hour of the attack, but they helped fund, train, and equip and provide facilities for Hamas to carry out some of its deadly attacks. So as everyone on this panel agrees, they are as responsible as anyone other than Hamas's own leadership in the deaths that were suffered on October 7th.
I think that should be loudly pronounced. So let me take you to this point. I think you will recall during the Obama administration, a very serious decision was made, an agreement was made regarding its nuclear assets. I can tell you that the members that were here, included myself, we had books and books of materials. We went into any number of briefings. We wanted to make sure that every line that we could ask, every question, every nuance was pursued, and finally felt that the agreement was the best way to go. And so my question to you is, you mentioned in your testimony that Iranian cyber attacks went down while they were beholden to the Iran nuclear deal and other aspects of their bad behavior. If Iran was following the guidelines, then can you just explore that concept, that there was an impact, and whether or not, and we probably, I hate to say the door is closed, but what kind of future potential any of that has, but mainly there was an impact.
Yes, it's important to understand Iran's peculiar sense of symmetry. It makes it understandable, and it should help guide us in our efforts to defend the homeland, because anything done to the Iranians, they'll find some way to do something similar to the United States. And this is why I say that deterrence doesn't work, but raising our defenses does.
And so your next steps for this committee would be what?
We have to encourage the American people to do more on cybersecurity, the private sector in particular. In many businesses, the small businesses, the backbone of our country, do not have enough cybersecurity protection. It's important for the American people to increase our cyber defenses. I'm not worried about the big, Amazon, Google, those companies. I'm worried about the medium and small businesses and what each of us individually can do.
Thank you. I yield back.